Conflict or pecuniary interest? I see none. Minutes of the previous meeting, item number 1. Can I have a mover and seconder for this, please? Member Bonham, Member Caslin. Any comments or questions on those minutes? Again, I see none. All those in favor of accepting them? Carried. Okay, new business. Item number 2, the Uber follow-up from November 9th at the licensing meeting. A mover and seconder to put this on the floor, please. Member Bonham, Member Stewart. Any comments or questions on this item? Woody, if you wish to comment on any of this, let me know. No comments or questions on that item? Okay. All those in favor of receiving that? Carried. Item number 3, the Uber news articles, the follow-up again from November 9th meeting. Mover and seconder for this one, please. Member Bonham, Member Caslin. Any comments or questions on the news articles that were provided? All those in favor? Carried. Item number 4, the taxi quotas, the follow-up submissions from Ismail or Temez. Mover and seconder for this one, please. Member Bonham, Member Caslin. Comments on the taxi quotas? All those in favor? Carried. Item number 5, the issuance of new taxi plates for St. Catharines. A mover and seconder for this one, please. Member Caslin, Member Bonham. Comments on this one? I see none. All those in favor on this report? Carried. Item number 6, the allotment of new taxi plates. Mover and seconder on this one. Member Bonham, Member Ganzel. Comments on this item? All those in favor? Carried on this one. Other new business on this item.
Bob,
no.
Can I just make one comment?
Ahead, sure.
Each of the things that are the submissions you've just received are taken into account in the legal opinion that I've given that's going to be addressed in camera. I just want anybody who made the submission to be aware of that.
There we are.
Kathy, isn't it?
Kathy, yes, yeah. Platanides.
Yeah, okay, so like take 5 or 10 minutes. And
yeah, I won't speak long. I mean, we weren't prepared. I just went off of the agenda. Thank you once again. It's not an easy day for me to be here, but we think that it's really important for us to address a few items on the agenda. Backing up my own submissions, there are countless other things I could submit, but it's just not enough time or space to. I think that we would like to address the 5th or 6th item on the agenda regarding the release of plates for waitlist. I know that it has been raised here in these meetings prior that, you know, it's kind of unfair for people to be on the wait list and paying for renewal each year. We know that that was discussed here, and there isn't anybody that would disagree with that we think that it really is unfair for them to have to pay to be on a wait list. However, we would like to address the wait list and the request for a release of plates. We just feel that given the situation with the industry at the moment and the, you know, the downward spiral of the taxi business and so forth with the other problems that are existing, we don't feel that it's in the best interests of the drivers on the wait list or anybody else who's currently driving a taxi to release extra plates at this particular time. I mean, perhaps down the road it might be something that would be beneficial, but actually our hearts go out not only to our own industry and members that are on the road currently, but also to those who may end up having a plate and incurring lots of expenses and then not being able to recoup because there's just not enough business on the road at the moment. So I guess on behalf of Peter and myself, and we represent Niagara, we are representatives, not the representatives of Niagara Falls Taxi. We just don't feel that that is feasible and wise at this particular time. I mean, we also have a review that should be coming out, for the past year with the regulation of the TNC. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what the recommendations will be going forward. And we're just concerned that, business is not good and it's going to be difficult. So for the concern for those that are on the list, for those that are already on the road, we just feel that this is not a wise choice at this time.
Okay, does anybody have any questions of Kathy? Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, he had a question.
Ken? I'm sorry, Ken does.
Thank you, and through you, Chair, just one question. And hypothetical. Let's say, for example, in the wait list, there was 100 people, but let's take 10 of those, and we said, okay, fine, we're going to release 10 more plates. My question to the industry is, if you put 10 more, and they're by vehicle, would you be able to source the vehicles and put them on the road? I mean, just by saying, okay, we're going to release them doesn't necessarily mean that it equates into new vehicles coming on. It's whether the industry can respond to picking up those plates, finding a vehicle. That's part of it, is a physical vehicle component. The second one is, would you have drivers to fill those vehicles for whatever time period, be it a 16-hour, 8-hour, or 24-hour period?
Very good questions. I think that the people, if there's a request on the agenda that they've submitted a request to you that they would like a release of plates, then they are in fact interested in putting a vehicle on the road. That would be my opinion. To answer the second part of your question, no, I don't think that there are a lot of drivers unless a person is taking the plate and getting a plate and putting it on the road for themselves and driving it. There is hardship in finding drivers right now in the industry. So there are people saying that it's really tough to get drivers. And we noticed here and as well in Toronto that the evening drivers you can't get evening drivers. It's tough.
Just a follow-up question,
Yep.
then. If you're having what I call a recruitment issue or trying to get people, are those people being swayed to become a driver for Uber at night because it's easier to pick up their car in their own driveway and drive around?
Well, I think that Uber has a very convincing way of trying to sway people to their side, and unfortunately, once they do come onto the platform, onto the Uber platform, they do try to come back to taxi because they do find that it's not very beneficial for them either. I think that it comes back to the point of us saying that, originally the industry has been asking for and would still maintain and stand by that there should be a cap. If you've gone ahead and you've included Uber into the TNC platform, there should be a cap on the vehicles. There's just too many cars on the road. Nobody can make any money. So therefore, to follow up on your question, even if they would go over to the other side, they come back. Because even on the Uber platform, they're finding it very difficult, which I have submitted before, that Uber is actually undercutting them seriously undercutting their own drivers. And so they end up trying to come back to taxi. But right now, everybody is discouraged. Uber, taxi, there are too many vehicles on the road. Nobody can make a living. You're welcome.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate
You're welcome. Would you like me to send a written submission for what I said to include it, or is it necessary?
Pardon me? No, it's not
We're
necessary.
good? All right. Thank
very
you so much. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a comment? Please. I know you've spoken before, but please give us your name again if you don't mind. Thanks.
My name is Dalibor Bogdanovic, president of Niagara Falls Taxi. I would like to make a couple comments about the quotas that I already mentioned before, and that Kathy didn't. She didn't mention.
If you've mentioned it before, I have a problem. Again, be very quick then, please.
Okay.
I just want new stuff like Kathy did. So
No problem. I'm gonna try just to get to the point. So as we already mentioned, the economic factor about the whole industry, it's very affected in a negative way. So nobody's making any money here. So with the Uber, the same with the taxi industry. we don't have drivers, especially evenings. So issuing more plates and putting more cars on the road, this issue it's gonna escalate, and it's gonna be even worse for the people. So this problem is existing since the Uber came in with the drivers recruitment for the last year and a half. So it didn't get better. It's just a lot of people are struggling financially to keep the cars on the road. So the whole thing with issuing new plates can only get the service to the lower level of the public service. So what we're going to have at the end, we're going to have the quality of the public service is going to decrease with more vehicles. People have less money for the maintenance, and people making less money. So even the bylaw is going to be affected with the licensing unit. When people not making any money, they're going to try to avoid some bylaws about the cutting the price, and the service as all in general is going to drop in quality. So that's the main point that I just want to address. Yeah.
Anyone have any questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, unless there's any new business, okay, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. We'll meet in confidential on licensing in a few minutes. Thanks.